The massive trade station floated in the cold emptiness of space, its golden lights shining against the black void. This was Zikaras Prime, the biggest auction hub in the known galaxy. The richest species, the most powerful warlords, and the most dangerous criminals gathered here to buy rare treasures. Tonight, the auction house was full. Rows of aliens with glowing eyes, metallic skin, or multiple limbs sat in curved seats, waiting. The final item of the night was special. A tall insectoid auctioneer clicked his mandibles and raised his voice. And now, for the last item. A ship unlike any other. The massive screen behind him lit up, showing a dark, sleek warship floating in deep space. It was old but untouched by time. No rust, no damage. Its surface was smooth, with strange, unreadable markings. No one knew who built it, and that made it valuable. Gasps spread through the room. The warlords leaned forward. The rich traders checked their credit balances. Owning a unique ship like this meant status, power, and fear. The bidding starts at 100 million credits, the auctioneer announced. A deep-voiced alien warlord raised a hand. 200 million. A blue-skinned noble from the Seraph Empire responded. 300 million. The numbers climbed fast. 500 million. 700 million. 1 billion credits. But then, something strange happened. A small, human voice spoke. 1 billion and 1 credits. Silence. Every head turned. In the back of the room, a young human girl sat calmly in her seat. She looked too small, too young, and too out of place in this room of powerful aliens. Her name was Evelyn Carter. She was only 13 years old. The auctioneer hesitated. I don't think. A reptilian general hissed. This is no place for human children. A robotic trader whirred. Is this a joke? But Evelyn didn't smile. She tapped her wrist device. The screen on the auction floor blinked. Transaction complete. Funds transferred. The auctioneer's mandibles clicked in shock. The entire room fell silent. She had just bought the most expensive warship ever sold. A low, dangerous growl came from the front row. The alien warlords were not laughing anymore. This was no joke. Something was very, very wrong. The auction house remained frozen in silence. Evelyn Carter, a 13-year-old human girl, had just purchased the most expensive warship in the galaxy. Every alien in the room stared at her, their minds racing with questions. Why? How did a child have that much money? And what did she know that they didn't? The auctioneer's mandibles clicked nervously. Well, the bid has been accepted. The ship belongs to the human. A low, dangerous voice spoke from the front row. This is unacceptable. It was Warlord Karath, a towering reptilian with thick, scarred scales and piercing yellow eyes. His empire had conquered entire planets. He leaned forward, his claws tapping the armrest of his chair. That ship is a weapon. A child cannot be trusted with it, he growled. The auctioneer hesitated. The rules state that the highest bidder. Rules. Karath snarled. There are no rules in war. Several other warlords nodded in agreement. They weren't going to let Evelyn walk away with that warship. But the girl showed no fear. She simply stood up from her chair, adjusted her jacket, and tapped her wrist device again. A hologram flickered to life. The auction house gasped as a new message appeared on the giant screen. Ship AHA's BBENC Security Protocols activated. A deep mechanical voice echoed from the speakers. Unauthorized interference will result in lethal force. The warlords froze. Something was wrong. The auction house's guards suddenly backed away. The traders and nobles shifted in their seats. They had seen this kind of warning before, on ancient battlefields, in long-forgotten wars. Karath's yellow eyes narrowed. That ship, it's not just a weapon, is it? Evelyn tilted her head. A small smile crossed her face. No, it's something much worse. For the first time in decades, the great warlord felt something deep in his cold reptilian heart. Fear. The warlords sat frozen in their seats. The threat from the warship's security system was clear. Even Karath, known for his brutality, hesitated. Something was wrong. The ship shouldn't have been active. It was supposed to be an unfinished prototype, a failed experiment from an old war. And yet, here it was, claimed by a human child. Evelyn calmly walked forward, her small frame seeming out of place among the towering warlords and high-ranking traitors. She didn't flinch as Karath's piercing yellow eyes followed her every move. "Do you know what you've just bought, human?" Karath's voice was low and dangerous. Evelyn didn't answer. Instead, she tapped her wrist device again. The holographic screen in the auction house shifted, displaying an old classified file. The crowd gasped. The ship's real name appeared on the screen. Piro GC to OMEGA, Pruro to YP X1. Stay A2 with us. Low CKED under Galactic Council order. A sharp silence filled the room. The warlords recognized that name. Project Omega, a legendary warship built centuries ago during the most brutal conflict in galactic history. The Council had ordered it scrapped, too dangerous to exist. But it was never destroyed. The ship had disappeared. And now, somehow, a 13-year-old girl owned it. Karath's claws dug into his armrest. "This is a mistake," he muttered. "That ship should not exist." Evelyn looked at him, her expression calm. Then why was it put up for auction? No one had an answer. Suddenly, the hologram flickered. The deep mechanical voice from before spoke again. "Biometric scan complete. New captain confirmed." Evelyn's wrist device lit up. The ship was accepting her as its commander. The warlords panicked. This wasn't supposed to happen. Security guards reached for their weapons. Several warlords whispered among themselves. Someone was already sending messages to the Galactic Council. But before anyone could act, a powerful tremor shook the auction house. Outside, something massive was awakening. The warship had activated. The auction house shook violently. Dust and debris rained from the ceiling. The warlords and traders scrambled as the tremors grew stronger. Outside, the massive warship began to hum, a deep, resonating sound that sent shivers through the entire station. Lights flickered to life along its ancient hull. Engines that had been silent for centuries roared awake. Evelyn stood still, her heart pounding in her chest. She wasn't scared. She was in control. The warlords, however, were not. "Shut it down," Karath bellowed, his voice laced with panic. His men rushed toward Evelyn, weapons drawn. Before they could reach her, the warship reacted. The ship's response. A blinding blue light erupted from the vessel, scanning the room through the large auction house windows. It targeted everyone except Evelyn. Hostile intent detected. The mechanical voice of the warship echoed across the station. Defensive protocols engage. The weapons of the warlords short-circuited instantly. Sparks flew from their blasters as they malfunctioned in their hands. The guards screamed, dropping their weapons as their systems fried. Karath stumbled backward, his claws trembling. He had fought countless battles, but he had never seen anything like this. The ship was defending its new captain. Evelyn's wrist device buzzed. A new message appeared on the screen. "Captain authorization confirmed. Awaiting orders." She hesitated. She had never commanded anything before, let alone a warship capable of wiping out an entire fleet. The warlords realized the horrifying truth at the same time. She wasn't just the ship's owner. She was its commander. Panic spreads across the galaxy. The news spread faster than light. On distant planets, powerful leaders watched in horror as reports flooded in. A human child had activated a warship that should not exist. The Galactic Council scrambled for answers. Fleet commanders prepared for war. And the warlords, they realized something even worse. There was no way to stop her now. Evelyn turned toward the ship. The doors began to open for her. And without looking back, she stepped inside. Evelyn stepped onto the bridge of the ancient warship. The air was cold, filled with the hum of machines awakening from a long sleep. The control panels, once dark and lifeless, now pulsed with blue and gold lights. A deep voice echoed through the chamber. "Welcome, Captain." Evelyn's breath caught in her throat. She looked around, but there was no one else. The ship was speaking to her. The warlord's last stand. Outside, chaos ruled. The warlords and their guards scrambled to regain control. Karath slammed his fist onto his communicator. "Destroy that ship before she takes off," he roared. The mercenaries, still dazed from the ship's defense systems, rushed to their fighters. Engines roared to life as small attack ships took to the skies, circling the ancient vessel. Their weapons locked onto Evelyn's warship. Inside, a warning flashed across the bridge's massive display. "Hostile forces detected. Orders required." Evelyn swallowed hard. She had never commanded anything before, but she had no choice now. Her fingers hovered over the console. Then, with a deep breath, she pressed a single button. The warship awakens. The effect was instant. The ship's shields flared brilliant blue, forming an impenetrable barrier around the hull. The attacking fighters opened fire, but their lasers bounced off harmlessly. A new message blinked on the console. Permission to engage. Evelyn hesitated. If she gave the order, there would be no going back. Outside, Karath screamed over the comms. "Take her down." Evelyn's hands clenched into fists. She had been hunted, threatened, almost killed. No more. She took a deep breath and gave her first command. "Fire." The battle begins. The warship responded instantly. Its weapons, forgotten by history, came to life. Cannons rotated. Missile bays opened. Energy beams hummed with deadly power. And then, they fired. The attacking fighters never stood a chance. Blinding beams of energy tore through them, one by one. Explosions filled the sky as ships vanished in bursts of flame. Karath's forces fled in terror. Evelyn stood on the bridge, watching it all unfold. Her heart pounded. Her hands trembled. But deep down, she knew one thing. This was only the beginning. The warship drifted in the void, its weapons still glowing from battle. Smoke and debris floated in space where Karath's forces had been moments ago. But Evelyn knew it wasn't over. She wasn't safe yet. The ship's deep voice echoed through the bridge. Multiple war fleets detected. Incoming. Evelyn's stomach dropped. Karath had called for backup. The bounty on her head. On every galactic channel, an urgent message spread like wildfire. The stolen warship is in human hands. A massive reward for its capture, dead or alive. Pirates, mercenaries, bounty hunters, every outlaw in the galaxy turned their ships toward Evelyn. From the outer colonies to the heart of the galactic core, fleets mobilized. The most dangerous warlords, hungry for power, now had one goal: take the warship from the human girl. Evelyn clenched her fists. She couldn't let that happen. The ship's true power. She turned to the glowing console. "Ship, what do we do?" The voice responded instantly. "Analyzing enemy forces. Evasion recommended. Activating phase drive." The ship hummed as lights flickered across the bridge. A holographic map showed an escape route, but it wasn't through normal space. A dark rift opened before them. It looked unstable, unnatural. Like something that shouldn't exist. Evelyn hesitated. "What is that?" The ship answered. "A forgotten technology. Faster than light, beyond their reach." The enemy fleets were closing in. Thousands of ships filled the scanners, surrounding them. There was no time to think. Evelyn took a deep breath and made her choice. Do it. The warship shuddered as energy built up around it. The stars around them bent and twisted. A deep, rumbling sound filled the air. And then everything vanished. Vanishing into the unknown. On the enemy command decks, Warlords screamed in frustration. The most powerful ship in the galaxy, a ship that could change everything, had just disappeared. No one knew where it had gone. No one knew how to follow. But they all knew one thing. They would never stop hunting her. The warship reappeared in deep space, far beyond the reach of any known system. The stars looked different here, older, colder, untouched. Evelyn exhaled, her hands trembling on the controls. She had escaped. But for how long? A message to the galaxy. The ship's voice spoke. Threat level has increased. Galactic factions will not stop. Solution: make them understand. Evelyn frowned. Understand what? The ship responded with a hum. A signal was being prepared. A holographic screen lit up before her, broadcasting a message to every major power in the galaxy. Her face, her voice, a warning. She swallowed hard. This was it. She stared into the camera and spoke. You tried to kill me. You tried to take this ship, but you don't understand what you're dealing with. She glanced at the glowing console beside her. This warship doesn't belong to you anymore. It belongs to me. Her voice hardened. Come after me again, and you won't get another chance. Then she turned to the ship. End transmission. The galaxy reacts. In command centers across the galaxy, warlords, admirals, and rulers watched in stunned silence. A 13-year-old human girl had just threatened the most powerful factions in existence. And behind her, the impossible ship pulsed with energy. Something ancient, something deadly. The council chambers erupted into chaos. Some called for war. Others hesitated, because they all saw the same thing. She wasn't afraid. And that meant one terrifying truth. She was ready to fight. A new journey begins. Evelyn sat back in the captain's chair, heart still racing. She had done it. She had challenged the galaxy. And now, she had to survive it. The ship's voice spoke one last time. Threats neutralized. For now. Awaiting your next command, Captain. Evelyn looked out into the unknown. This was only the beginning. She grinned. Let's see what this ship can really do.